एवरीवन, मिशन फॉर एक्सेलेंस में आपका स्वागत है। टुडे वी विल डू कन्वोल्यूशन थ्योरम। So first let us understand what is convolution. So convolution between two functions fx and gx. fx and gx are two functions. So convolution between these two functions is denoted as fx star gx, and this will be equal to integral minus infinity to infinity fu g x minus u du. This is known as convolution. This star is known as convolution, and this is the definition of convolution. Convolution is equal to integral fu g x minus u du. So now let us do convolution theorem for the Fourier transformation. Convolution theorem. It states that the Fourier transform of convolution of fx and gx. Convolution of two functions fx and gx is the product of their Fourier transforms. Fourier transforms. So let us write it mathematically. So Fourier transform of fx star gx. We have written here convolution. So Fourier of convolution will be equal to Fourier transform and their product of their Fourier transforms. So we take Fourier transform of fx multiplied Fourier transform of gx. So this is the statement of convolution theorem. Now let us prove it. Let us prove it by the definition of Fourier transform of convolution of f and g, f star g. Its Fourier transform is equal to integral minus infinity to infinity e raised to power minus iota sx, and this function f star g, that is fx star gx into dx. Now let us put the value of f star g here. So this will become minus infinity to infinity e raised to power minus iota sx. Now we are putting the value of this convolution. So the value of convolution is minus infinity to infinity fu g x minus u du. This is convolution, and the last we have dx. So now this will become the double integral. So let us write it. Now this integral is with respect to u and this integral is with respect to x. So now let us change the order of integration. So first we take integral with respect to x, and then we take integral with respect to u. So let us write here minus infinity to infinity. It is function of u only, so let us take it outside. So it will become fu, and this take we inside, minus infinity to infinity e raised to power minus iota sx g x minus u. Now we shift dx here, and after that outside it we take du. So first we will solve this integral with respect to x. Now to solve this integral with respect to x, let us put x minus u equal to t. So dx will be equal to dt, and when x tends to infinity, t also tends to infinity from here, and when x tends to minus infinity, from here t also tends to minus infinity. So this integral will be converted to minus infinity to infinity fu this integral will become minus infinity to infinity. Limit will remain same. Value of x from this equation will be t plus u. So let us put here. So e raised to power minus iota s t plus u g, x minus u is t, dx is dt, and outside is du. So now let us separate these two terms. So we can take this iota st inside and iota isu outside the integral. So let us write here minus infinity to infinity fu. From this we take this u outside. So e raised to power minus iota su. And in the integral inside it remains minus iota st gt dt and at last du. So now by the definition of the Fourier transform, e raised to power minus iota st gt is the Fourier transform of function g. So let us write here minus infinity to infinity fu e raised to power minus iota su. This is Fourier transform of function gt du. Now again, if we take this gt outside, then this will become Fourier transform of the function fu. So we can write here Fourier transform of fu into Fourier transform of gt. Or you can if change the variable also. So we can write it as Fourier transform of fx into Fourier transform of gx. So this is the proof of convolution theorem. We can change the variable anytime if there is no effect on changing the variable on the integration. This is the Fourier transform, Fourier convolution theorem for Fourier transform. Now let us do Fourier transform of derivatives. So if f bar s is the Fourier transform of fx, then Fourier transform of f dash x, its derivative. So Fourier transform of derivative is iota s f bar s. We will multiply by iota s. So let us prove it. Again we will apply the main definition of the Fourier transform. By definition, this Fourier transform of f dash x will be equal to minus infinity to infinity e raised to power minus iota sx f dash x dx. So now let us integrate it by parts. This first and this is second. So let us take this e raised to power minus iota sx as it is. Integral of this second is fx limit minus infinity to infinity minus derivative of first e raised to power minus iota sx into minus iota s fx dx. So when you put here infinity, it will become 0 fx because this is the bounded function, and when you put here minus infinity, then again it will be 0. So it will be 0 minus, this minus minus will become plus. Iota s we can take outside, minus infinity to infinity e raised to power minus iota sx fx dx. And this is the Fourier transform of the function fx by the main definition. So this will become iota s. We know the Fourier transform of this is f bar s. So we write here f bar s as proved. So now if you take here second derivative, let us take this generalization. Let us generalize. generalization. So when you take higher order derivatives, then every time you will multiply it by iota s. So Fourier transform of the nth derivative of the function will be equal to iota s raised to power n f bar s. So every time when you take the derivative here, and then every time you will multiply by iota s with the Fourier transform. So this is the generalization of the Fourier transform of derivatives. Now let us find the Fourier transform of derivatives in case of Fourier sine transform and Fourier cosine transform. So let us first define if the Fourier sine transform and Fourier cosine transform of fx and f dash x exist, and there are two conditions on that. Fx tends to 0 as x tends to infinity. Then this is the condition, fx must tends to 0 as x tends to infinity, as we have applied in the previous Fourier transform of derivative also. So now let us define here Fourier sine transform of derivative of fx is equal to minus s Fourier cosine transform of fx. So when you take here derivative, then sine transform will be converted to cosine transform. In the second one, when you take here cosine transform f dash x, then it will be converted to Fourier sine transform with plus sign, fs fx minus f0. So this is the Fourier sine transform and Fourier cosine transform of the two derivatives. So let us prove this one by one. This is the generalization of the Fourier transform of the derivatives, nth derivative, and these are the Fourier transform of sine and cosine transforms. So let us take first Fourier sine transform of f dash x. So its Fourier sine transform will be by the definition 0 to infinity fx sine sx dx. F dash x. So now let us integrate it by parts. This take as first and this take as second. So integrating by parts, we get sine sx, integral of this is fx, limit 0 to infinity, minus 0 to infinity, derivative of sine sx is cos sx into s, and this one is fx dx. So now when x tends to infinity, fx is 0, we have taken here. So this limit, when we put this limit infinity here, so we have taken here this fx tends to 0 as x tends to infinity. So this will become 0, and sine 0 is also 0. So the lower limit will also give 0 result. This s we take outside here, so it will be minus s integral 0 to infinity cos sx fx dx, and this is the cosine transform of function fx, and this is minus s. So the result is minus s fc fx, Fourier cosine transform of the function fx. This we have proved here. So now let us prove the second part. Fourier cosine transform of f dash x, by the main definition, this will be 0 to infinity f dash x cos sx dx. Again, as in the previous, we take integral by parts. So let us take this first and second. So this will become cos sx, integral of this is fx, limit 0 to infinity minus integral 0 to infinity derivative of cos xx is minus s into sine sx, and integral of this is fx dx. So now this will become, when x tends to infinity, again we have the condition x tends to infinity, fx will be 0. So this gives you 0. So we write here 0. When you put the lower limit, it will become cos 0, that is 1, and it will become f0. Minus minus will become plus, s we can take outside, 0 to infinity sine sx fx dx. This is the Fourier sine transform of the function fx. So we will take it as s fs of fx, Fourier sine transform, minus f0. So this is the Fourier cosine transform of derivatives. Let us now derive a relation between Fourier transform and Laplace transform. So first we'll take the function. Let us define a function. Define a function ft such that ft equal to e raised to power minus xt phi t. The function we take here phi t when t is greater than 0 and 0 when t is less than 0. So this function, now we will take the Fourier transform of this function. So let us take Fourier transform of this function ft. By the definition, the Fourier transform is minus infinity to infinity e raised to power minus iota st. Let us take y here. So e raised to power minus iota yt ft dt. So now put the value of ft here, minus infinity to infinity e raised to power minus iota yt. We divide the integral into two parts, minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity. ft dt plus 0 to infinity e raised to power minus iota yt ft dt. Now in minus infinity to 0, that is in the negative interval, this is 0. So we put here 0, then whole integral will become 0. 0 to infinity e raised to power minus iota yt ft is e raised to power minus xt phi t dt. So now this will become 0 to infinity e raised to power minus x plus iota y t phi t dt. So this is nothing but the Laplace transform, because the Laplace transform, if you remember, I have told in the previous video, Laplace transform of any function is equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to power minus st ft dt. So there is no iota sign here, e raised to power minus st. So this is also the Laplace transform if we take x plus iota y as s. So now this will become this we use. So this will become 0 to infinity e raised to power minus st phi t dt. That is equal to Laplace transform of phi t. We write here where x plus iota y equal to s. So therefore Laplace of ft will be equal to Laplace of phi t. Laplace of, Fourier of ft will be equal to Laplace of phi t. This is the relation between Laplace transform and Fourier transform. So Fourier transform of ft is equal to Laplace transform of phi t. Hope you like the video. So you can ask your queries by writing in the comment box, and if you have not still subscribed the channel, please subscribe it today.